Hello, everyone. Welcome to Elevating Your Life. And we are going to be elevated today. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Just so awesome to share so many amazing guests. I have with us today Sara Loos. She is a transformational coach, intuitive healer, and spiritual teacher who has been empowering clients for over a decade with simplified tools to create real changes, also known as miracles in their lives. She is also the author of the Miracle Workers Handbook, which I absolutely loved. We're going to be talking about that. So first off, Sara, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Paula. I am so excited to be here and talk with you. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, well, is there anything in your background that you'd like to share, or kind of what triggered you to do what you're doing today that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I find right now, I think it's a wonderful thing that we're recognizing that people's stories matter, right? And so I'm going to share a little bit about my story because it helps people to realize that, I'm like everybody else. I've got my stuff. I actually was a corporate marketing person, very high level corporate marketing person in New York City and Los Angeles. And as I say, at the time, my daughter was a year old, my oldest daughter, and I never saw her. I was always on airplanes or in board meetings in Europe or somewhere, and I just never saw her, and I was kind of miserable. But I thought that that job was my entire identity, and I wasn't super happy. And ultimately, the last job that I headed marketing worldwide for a technology company. And the owner was trying to take the company public, and he ended up firing every one of us that were US officers. And I had never been fired before. Everything about me was my work, and I gave it my all. And I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And then I realized it was actually, in hindsight, the best. And that was the beginning for me of recognizing that when really dark, troubling things happen, instead of going to the pity party place, and it's what I work with my clients on, because I love to work with clients who are trying to make big changes in their lives. They know they need to make change. So that came at me sideways, didn't expect it, but it could be that is exactly the catalyst you need for a new trajectory in your life to be happier. It opened doorways for me to actually listen to and answer this calling that I had. I kept being told by multiple people that I was supposed to be doing something else. And it made me sit quietly long enough to recognize I was miserable, to recognize it was a gift, and to recognize that I could choose better. I didn't have to continue at a job I wasn't happy with, that I wasn't getting to be a mother with my awesome daughter with. I could make new choices. And I know with your great book, we get to choose to be happy. It is a daily choice. So it was the beginning for me of a huge awakening to what I believe is why I'm here. I'm not here to do that corporate job, and I am not my job. And that's the other thing I definitely want to say to people. There's a stage of consciousness where we actually believe we are what we do versus who we are. And so I'm so glad I broke out of that. It was needed. Yeah.
And you know what I think is so amazing, Sara, is we can really be focused on, this is what I'm going to do. This is going to be me, my profession. I know I was like that. In college and high school, I'm going to be an accountant. That's what I went to college for. And then I ended up working in the restaurant and falling into love with that and being a restaurant owner and a people person, and totally something different that I thought was my path. So it's really, exciting. And that's a great example of yours that, here you were in this one career you worked so hard for, and then now this shift and you're doing something else so amazing and also helping so many people. And I know we've had a session together, and oh my gosh, it was life-changing for me. Oh my gosh.
I'm so happy to hear that. I think that we are, unless we have some kind of wake up call, I really believe that we are destined to repeat patterns that I think are really stale and old, that are given to us by our parents, by our culture, by generations backwards, that we're not even aware of what we're inheriting. It's energy passed down. And until you have something that is a wake up call, and it could be a big one, it could be a subtle one, whatever, but you have a wake up call that says, this isn't who I am. Wait, hang on. I have these gifts that I'm not even paying attention to. So it's really fun when you can explore that. And one of the other things I always like to point out to people is that who you were when you were a teenager is obviously somebody very different than you were when you became 30. And when you become 40, you're really different, and 50, and it goes on. We evolve as beings. So shouldn't our desires and our interests and our skills and even our gifts evolve in the same way? So when we get too attached to this is who I am and this is all I am, wow, we're limiting ourselves and limiting the possibilities of the magic, I think, that can happen in our lives.
Yes, yes. I love that your comment, I am not my job. And I've always made the comment, I am not my car. Because I swear people can be, well, what kind of car do you drive? Well, does that matter? I mean,
Yeah.
but
That's so ego based. That's all about what I put on versus what I am, especially from the inside. I am so happy to say I've gotten to a place in my life where I'm seriously less. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a nice car. I like nice clothes. I like nice things. I just don't identify anymore with, I have to have that to feel good about myself.
That's
at
it.
all. Like that's like,
Enjoy it.
no.
Yes.
No. And if I catch myself even going in that direction, I really practice pulling it back, going, okay, that is not going to fulfill me. Stop. So yeah.
Because that's, it's one thing, we enjoy nice things and enjoy what we're, blessings, things that we're grateful for that we have and accomplishments. But really, that's not what's, our happiness inside is based from inside, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've had some really high power clients, and they sit with me and they say, I don't understand. I accomplish, and they give me this litany of things that, super impressive. I mean, they could be in a who's who book kind of thing. And I'm listening to them, but they're there because they're miserable and they don't understand it. And then that's when I'm like, these things are never going to fill you up. It's like you're trying to check off a list of accomplishments instead of like, then when you say, let's just sit and be quiet and figure out what's going on inside. That's when you realize that all of that was usually, I use the term a masquerade. It's like they're masquerading behind all of the diplomas and the certifications and the accomplishments and the money and because they don't really want to face what's inside. And that's when you can really get, you have breakthroughs. That's when, as I say, the miracles happen, because you discover who you really are and you can get lit up about it. I love your book about happiness. It's like you get to choose that every day. Like what uniquely me, what is going to make Sara happy is very different than what's going to make Paula happy or someone else. And that's okay. You're allowed to pursue that.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. And your book, The Miracle Worker's Handbook. I love that title. And I'd like you to share with everyone really how do you describe a miracle worker? What exactly is that?
Well, first I want to describe what a miracle is, because I think everybody has this distorted view. In my perspective, miracles happen all the time and we just don't pay attention. So a miracle is, in my description, anything that happens that you thought it never could. I mean, that's in the simplest terms, like not possible, no way. So if it does happen, then it's messing with your head. Your head's going to go like, wait, what? Right? That's a miracle because it's something that went against all of your belief systems to be possible. That's a miracle. So I wrote the book, and it's about being a miracle worker. Each of us has the capacity to be a miracle worker in our own lives, for our own lives, meaning that you can create transformations by doing certain techniques and working with tools and choosing to have a different perspective about the changes you can make. And it's really fascinating, the stories that I've gotten from clients and friends and family members who play with these techniques. And I just really wanted, when I wrote the book, I remember like I'd been doing my work, my own spiritual journey and development work for like 20 years. And I just really had this desire to tell people that I'm not super special. I've done my work. I've walked my journey. I've done so much excavating inside myself to get rid of all the things that keep me, as I say, from my light shining. And I'm not special. I've just gone through the process. And so everybody else has that ability too. I genuinely believe that. I really do. Yeah.
And I love in your book, you discuss how important it is to listen to our heart. And that really opens. I mean, it's so easy to always just go with the mind, but gosh, when we take a moment and listen to our heart, the things that we can create and feel.
Well, that is really, I have to say, Paula, that's literally the essence of my work. I was going to say that's at the heart of my work. It sounds really silly to say that, but it is the focus of all of my work, because what I've learned is I used to have a tagline that I worked with all the time, and I don't use it so much, but it was enlightening minds and empowering hearts. So I think that our culture is so based on our minds are the brilliance, the mind's the power, the mind is everything. And I don't believe that to be true. I know for a fact, and I'm loving that there's a lot of scientific evidence now and research that's proving that our heart is this energetic center that is far more powerful than our mind. It is literally controlling things that would astound people if they read the research. I mean, they're proving that our energy patterns from our hearts are connected to like solar signals and sonic waves and things. And we are affected by that. This heart that we have is this giant magnified energy force that I think holds all of our greatest wisdom. I call it the seat of our soul. It is literally God within. I use lots of labels, and I'm happy to do that. I do it in my book because I've learned that I have people who work with me that are very Christian. I have people who are Buddhist. I have people who are, well, really from every walk of faith. And I'm fine with that because I don't get caught up in labels. If you get caught up in labels, that's the dogma and the whatever, and then you're missing the point. I'm all about trying to get people to come back to a place of understanding that this heart is connected to source, something higher, something that is so wise and brilliant. And you have all the answers already in you. And it's so liberating is the best word I can give, to know that if you stop, like you just let your mind have a new task. I mean, let it be brilliant and give it a new task. I literally have a whole dialogue. I do a lot of play when I work, because even the energy of play and joy helps you move energy faster. So instead of getting into this like very deep, serious trauma conversations that are so heavy, that low vibrational energy, when we do this stuff with play, it's just shocking. Your body resets. Like you see, like I know we both do Reiki and you're a master. I'm not a master level, but you can see like the energy that is tension and stress and pain and trauma melting, and it just kind of dissolves. And it's similar, like your heart turned on, the beam turned on, the awareness turned on and empowered. It changes the way we think and function and choose and be. So that's what I really am trying to teach people to know, experience that. I mean, I get addicted. I'm like, I want to stay there all the time, right? It's just like,
I am so passionate about the level of vibration that we reside in, and, it can be joy, gratitude, you're up here, anger, jealousy, you're down here. It's huge how it affects us. It's huge. Absolutely. And I loved in your book where you said, when you feel joy in your energy is vibrating at its highest possible level. And that is just so true. It just raises us.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating.
It really is. And I just want to say this quickly, because I've had with a lot of clients who are like, whatever they're going through can be very traumatic, and I don't want to make light of that whatsoever. And I hold that space for them and I allow them to feel it until a point, because you don't want to feed your story either. Like the real transformation where it comes when we stop feeding the story. And they're like, I don't know how to feel joy. So if you don't, and I say this because we don't know the listeners, there may be really struggling. And if you don't know how to feel joy, you want to reach at least one vibration higher and then one vibration higher. So, there's a scale of harmonics of our emotions. The lowest point is apathy. There's like, I feel nothing. I just want to check out, right? And it can go up. So if you're angry, at least reach for, and I love, we talk about gratitude. Can you find something to be grateful for? It's like, to me, it's like you're in a dark pit and there are rungs on the wall, like climbing a rock, right? In those rock climbing places, reach for a rung that's higher, that is higher. So if it's gratitude, because you can't get to joy yet. If it's appreciation, because gratitude is higher in my view than appreciation. If it's even for me, like I get my clients to go, remember something, a moment when you felt joy, go backwards. Like you might not be able to go right in the now. Take your memory back to a place where you felt joy. Close your eyes, feel it as if it's real. And all of a sudden the vibration comes up, because your body doesn't know if it's in the now or you're visualizing and remembering. So there's lots of tricks to get to that joy. So I don't really take that I can't feel joy. There's lots of things we can do to get you there and to elevate that vibration slowly, again, step by step. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It's so awesome to understand and realize, the vibration levels we live in from those different things. And I love your comment. It's like, oh, that's just too far to reach. Just take one step at a time. I love that, Sara.
Well, we do need to do that. We need to, I see too many people that give up too fast, because we've been trained in our culture. It's instant gratification. So everybody wants to be at the end of this journey, healed, fixed, happy now, right? And this spiritual journey stuff, the work that you and I do, the transformational work, it doesn't end. It's ongoing. You're always on the journey. You don't get to be at the end. And the point is not to get to the end. The point is literally to be in the journey. So you have to be willing to have little doses and little wins, and the little wins end up creating massive transformation. And, I remember saying to you, every time I do one of my really deep healing sessions with anyone, I always say, please don't expect dramatic results, because it's not how nature works. Nature, unless something's gone wrong, is never dramatic. Nature is subtle and soft and so slow in all of its miraculous beauty and wisdom. And evolves like a flower opening or the butterfly coming out of the cocoon. It takes a while, and it's doing it so that we don't have trauma. So it's to know that, be patient with yourself, be willing to take the small steps, be willing to celebrate the small victories, and notice your steps. That's the other thing. I always have people calibrate where they are, like on a feeling grade, like I'm so depressed, I can't get out of this depression. And we calibrate it, scale of 1 to 10. How depressed are you really? Like, how are you feeling? 10 being super intense, 1 not being so much. What I've learned is that then when we go through the techniques that we work with, you go back and recalibrate, and it's always significantly lower. They've made progress. Before I started doing the calibration, they'd be like, I don't know if that worked. Our minds trick us. They will always tell us if we're doing poorly. Our minds don't really point out to us our progress. It's a shame, but it's something that I've noticed. So I really encourage people, journal, do something to take notes of the progress when you make it, because those are also like those, the spikes on the wall to climb us up and get us out of this unconsciousness that we're living. Yeah.
And, the power of what we say is so amazing. I loved what you mentioned in the book. What you say becomes your request to the universe. Oh my gosh, that is just so spot on, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so many people, Paula, don't listen to their language. I got to work with a wonderful teacher. I'm going to plug him for just a second, Robert Tennyson Stevens. I don't claim to have created this stuff. I got it from him, and I did an entire course of it. And then I started really working with my clients. And it's really about that our language, there's so many phrases we should really get rid of in our vocabulary. Some of the most important ones I want to point out are the most powerful thing we can say is I am. Whatever comes after that, you're like putting your arms around it, and it's a contract so make sure that it's something really empowering and uplifting and awesome. And if you can't figure that out on your own, work with somebody like us, right? To remind you of your I am that's powerful and amazing. There's certain words, I am, I can, I choose, I will, I create. Those are super powerful. Words to eliminate. It's challenging. And the word is but. We use but all the time, and but stands for brutal, useless thoughts. So if I'm talking to Paula and I said, Paula, I really, really loved meeting you, and it was so lovely the time we got to spend together, and then your mind automatically went to, okay, she didn't really mean what she said. That was the fluffery. So here comes the shoe dropping, and you get defensive. You have this response. Our minds do that. So try to eliminate but. You don't need to use the word but. It takes some training. So I would say, and. So I love meeting you. And so there's also, it's this wonderful of being able to hold this and energy. The things can be opposing, like I love you and I need to say this to you, and it might be challenging for you to hear. And I know that you want us to be better at communicating. See?
Yes.
Yeah. So language is huge, huge. And so what we speak, like I'm so frustrated when I have clients who say like, I'm so stupid. Stop. No, you're not.
Over the years, reprimanded myself. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you do that, don't beat yourself up about it. Just go stop and go, whoops. Okay. Let's clean that up. Never mind. I'm actually awesome. Yes. Or, so there's so much work on the languaging piece. So yeah, that was, all the chapters in the book are short. And I realize now maybe I should have elaborated more, but I wanted people to take each chapter, and it's a tool book. It's literally like play with them, work with them. And my intent was, could you take this and apply it in your life for a couple of weeks or even a month and see what happens, and then move on to another chapter? And you don't have to go in any specific order, but just taking, for example, that watching your language and what you're saying and noticing, is it positive and is it the order that you would want to give the universe?
And the
What?
difference
So
that
what?
can give your life. It
Yes.
is, that's a great idea. Just do it and then look at, oh my gosh, what a difference of what's happening and how I feel and coming my way. It's such a great book. Sara,
Thank you.
will you share with everyone your website, how they can get a hold of you,
Oh, I'd love to. Yes.
get a copy of your book? And then,
Yeah. So my website is my name. So it's saraloos.com, super easy. And I'm guessing they know how to spell that because it'll be in the promo thing. And on my website, my book is sold, but you can also get the book on Amazon. And there on my website, I do want to just say this too for any of your listeners. I give a complimentary session to anyone and everyone as their first time working with me, because I want you to experience how different the approach I use is for coaching and healing. And I just love to share that with people so that they can see if it's right for them and to have an idea of how powerful that work can actually be in their lives.
I love it. With just a couple minutes left in the show, Sara, what last thought do you want to leave with everyone today? This has been so great.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, so I think what's on my heart to say is please know that you, every single one of you, is such a sacred, beautiful being. And if you don't know that, you just forgot. You just somehow or another got lost in the shuffle of people saying things or culture or whatever. And what I know is that each one of us has so much love and light within us. And when we make the effort to discover that, our lives are elevated in ways that really are miraculous. We become better parents, we become better employees, we become better managers, we just become better leaders, and our world really needs that right now. So I just encourage everyone, like, test it and see if it doesn't completely change your life in a very positive way. It's so worth it.
Oh, thank you, Sara. This has been such a pleasure. Oh my gosh.
Thank you for having me. The time goes so fast. You're such a wonderful person to share this with. And thank you for having me, Paula. I'm so grateful.
Great information and inspiration. And everyone, so happy to have you join us today. Love, hugs, and blessings. So happy to share you, Sara, and all the awesome work you do. I tell you, that session we had was just absolutely amazing. Well, have a great day, everyone. And thank you so much. Bye. Bye, Sara.
Thank you.